What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MANIACITV, man. Today, we got Ksoo charges upgraded to first-degree murder in 2 shootings from the Trend Plug YouTube channel, man. Now, I wanted to check this video out because I've been seeing a lot of stuff all over, new developments in his case and whatnot, man. I even saw some of him saying that he had no money, no income, no houses, no cars, and only $1,000 to his name in his bank account or something like that, man. So we gonna see what this all about, man. Ksoo, he been locked up, I want to say for the last year and a half, man, but this shit getting crazy.
In case you've been seeing Ksoo's name on the news recently, it's for a trouble he got himself into 2 years ago. The crazy part is not only him, but some of his family members are in on this. Want to know the craziest part? The case that was looking like what could be a little bit managed has now been upgraded to something bigger. All that's happened and all that's happening concerning the case is what I'll be talking about in this video. Before we start the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you would like to join this month's giveaway of one of these items on the screen, then all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and watch this video to the end to comment the hidden keyword.
Boy.
Good luck. In case you're not familiar with the case, let's go back to how it all started. In February 2019, a 16-year-old boy was killed in a shooting at the Hilltop Village Apartments. Witnesses reported that it was a really crazy sight, more like there was a war going on outside when they heard multiple gunshots. After the police responded to that shooting, they could only identify a dead boy with the name Adrian Gaynor, as he was already dead before responders came to the scene. Even though people gave their testimonies and all, no one was arrested and there was no information about the suspected shooter at the time. Fast forward to almost a year after, specifically in January 2020, there was a manhunt in the Arlington area for 2 armed men suspected in a deadly shooting, police chase, and home invasion. Police officers on foot, SWAT, and a K-9 unit and the JSO helicopter were all out throughout the day, monitoring the area where the violent crime spree unfolded at 3 different scenes. About 11 a.m., a young man was shot multiple times and killed in the parking lot in front of a Baptist primary care office in a shopping center on Merrill Road at Townsend Boulevard. And according to reports, at least 7 shots were fired from a gray car, striking the man who died at the scene. Police said at least 1 bullet hit one of the businesses, but no one inside was injured. The incident didn't go unnoticed by several people, including an off-duty officer who pursued the vehicle, which people said was reported stolen a year before the incident. The police chased the car until it crossed on Townsend Boulevard, several blocks south of the shopping center. Police said 3 men, 2 in their early 20s, got out of the car and took off. To make things worse, or easier, surveillance video from a neighbor shows 2 men running and jumping over a fence near a child's playset. Not only did the surveillance capture that incident, but there were 2 other witnesses who also saw these suspects on the run. A third suspect, described as a black male carrying a rifle, ran off and was not immediately captured, according to JSO. Just after 12:30 p.m., officers were called to a home invasion robbery on Townsend Road at Alderman Road, just south of where the stolen car crashed. They reported
these niggas be terrorizing Jacksonville, and they say Jacksonville one of the safest cities and one of the best cities in Florida to live, man. Whole time it's a damn war going on, and that's the crazy thing about it though. Him just detailing, you know, the crimes that's surrounding Ksoo right now. Him just detailing this, it goes to show, and the same could be said for Orlando. Florida is such a tourist state where the police, their government, they're gonna try to cover a lot of this shit up. They don't want none of this shit to be made public because that's gonna deter tourists, which is gonna deter money for their city. People ain't gonna want to visit there if they know that all this shit going on underneath though. But they do that shit with a lot of like touristy cities, like Disney World cities type shit. They do that all the time. The whole time it's a damn war going on there. Why y'all think they creating task forces and shit? They trying to take all these niggas down.
Just after 12:30 p.m., officers were called to a home invasion robbery on Townsend Road at Alderman Road, just south of where the stolen car crashed. They reportedly went inside the home, changed clothes, held the homeowner hostage, and then were picked up by a possible orange or red Dodge Challenger or Charger.
Sound like a movie.
According to the victim, she came out of the bathroom and met the 2 suspects in her bedroom. She tried to make them leave and also tried to run, but they held her down. Though these men were proving smart by the way they moved, little did they know that they were only making matters worse by getting people familiar with what they looked like.
See, I was just
Before
about
3
to say
p.m.,
that.
the sheriff's office had released descriptions of the 2 suspects. Suspect number 1 was said to be 5 foot 5 inches tall, a black male with short hair with twists, tattoos on both arms, wearing a gray t-shirt, with Permenti Brothers on back, brown pants, and white New Balance shoes.
God damn, how the fuck they get all that?
T-shirt with Permenti Brothers on back, brown pants, and white New Balance shoes.
Even the
Suspect
brand?
number 2 is a 5'5" tall black man wearing a black hoodie, white muscle shirt, and a black pajama pants with Mountain Dew on them. About 3:30 p.m., the sheriff's office announced that a shelter in place for residents in the area had been lifted, but the 2 men were still at large. The police then put out a reward for people who have useful information about the suspects as they had not been found. The search continued for months as police were looking for suspects, unknown to everyone that suspects were not even hiding. By September 2020, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office announced that a father and son had been arrested on charges related to the deadly shooting that occurred in Arlington back in January 2020. Hold up, did you hear that? A father
and son.
together with his son?
That shit's still crazy.
That's crazy, and at the same time shocking. Hakeem Robinson, popularly known as Ksoo, and his father Abdul Robinson, who has been charged with accessory after the fact, are the ones that were charged with second-degree murder.
I ain't never, when they first said that, my nigga, that shit caught me so off guard, because I'm like, normally parents be like, they don't want their kids in that shit, but you out here doing shit with your son like that shit wild as hell to me, like for real.
Ksoo and his father Abdul Robinson, who has been charged with accessory after the fact, are the ones that were charged with second-degree murder of the January 2020 shooting. At first, when I heard this news, I was confused and shocked, and I began to think about how and why all of that happened, and involved Ksoo and his father. But later on, I gotta realize that there's more to this case, and you'll find out too. After Ksoo had been arrested for the murder of the 20-year-old identified as Charles McCormick, he was then also charged for the shooting of Adrian Gaynor in 2019. Ever since then, he's been on the case. His team and attorneys have really tried their best to take him out of the messy situation, doing all sorts of things, including claims that Ksoo wasn't the shooter. An attorney representing him took to social media to claim that a suspect seen in a dashcam video running away from an ambush murder in Arlington last year couldn't be his client because the suspect is too small. The Miami-based attorney, Christopher DeCoste, posted a series of images on Instagram, which he called a children's book under the title JSO and the Wrongful Prosecution of Ksoo, proclaiming Ksoo's innocence.
And I've been seeing, even Young and Ace put it in his video, man, their correctional officers in there is so fucking grimy. I feel like the abuse of power, that's something that needs to be fixed in this country, man. The abuse of power and some type of authority that these people think they got over these inmates, man. They got to understand that at the end of the day, they outnumbered. If them inmates wanted to cause hell up in that, they will cause hell in there, man. So stop treating people like they less than just because they inside, man. Like, we got to stop that. Like, the video I seen, man, it was so fucked up what they doing to Ksoo in there.
Book under the title JSO and the Wrongful Prosecution of Ksoo, proclaiming Ksoo's innocence. He then wrote, Jacksonville law enforcement can't understand that Ksoo is innocent. To help them understand, we put some of the important facts into one of the most understandable mediums, a children's book. The actual book is being mailed to them. Free Ksoo. In the post, which Ksoo's attorney said is suitable for anyone with common sense, he said an eyewitness described the shooter as thin and around 5'10". An officer who witnessed the shooting also said the shooter was slender and no taller than 5'8". The attorney notes that his client is much bigger, while an arrest report said Ksoo was 6'1" and 230 pounds.
So how could it be him?
The post also shows a screenshot from the dashcam video evidence captured the day of the murder where a suspect, who JSO described as the one who chased and gunned down McCormick, can be seen carrying a rifle. The attorney wrote, he physically cannot be the shooter. In no way do we discount the pain caused to those that love the man that was murdered, but people also love Ksoo, and his life is in jeopardy because of egos and politics, not reliable evidence. See, this is not to bore you with necessary stories, but to point out something that will take us to another. The attorney further said, the book isn't meant to mock the case or court system. Instead, it draws attention to law enforcement's disregard of the obvious fact that Hakeem Robinson cannot physically be the shooter.
That picture, honestly though, like, Ksoo is a little chunkier. He a little chunky ass nigga though. That nigga was clearly, like, I don't know, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Where we at? 6'15". Let me see this picture again. Like, come on. This nigga is slimmer. This nigga is slimmer. I don't know though. Let's go back to where we were.
Be the shooter. We've been saying this to law enforcement since day one, but it's falling on deaf ears because they want him to be guilty. Next, if Hakeem can't physically be the shooter, then the snitch holding the first case together is lying. This same unreliable snitch is the only piece of evidence in the second case, which was only filed to frustrate Akeem's release after we won bond on the first case.
I heard
Simply
that it
put,
was a snitch.
with the snitch lying in the first case, he shouldn't be trusted for the second case.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Hakeem, an innocent young man with no prior felony convictions, is behind bars being violently mistreated. You heard someone was being referred to as a snitch, right? According to an arrest warrant, Ksoo was arrested in connection with the murder after investigators used a confidential informant inside the pretrial detention facility to record a conversation with Dominique Barner. This Barner is the one DeCoste called a snitch in a statement. You need to know that Barner is also accused of second-degree murder in the death of the same Charles McCormick. Barner told the informant he and others waited until McCormick left his house and followed him to a shopping center on Merrill Road. He also described the subsequent police chase after the shooting. In an interview with investigators, Barner acknowledged he was driving the car that was involved in the murder of McCormick. According to an arrest warrant, he told investigators he was with Ksoo and Leroy Whitaker, who was also eventually charged with second-degree murder when they tracked down McCormick.
Now that's where we hit that rock right there, man. We was gliding through it. I'm like, well, why ain't they let this nigga out? Well, because somebody accidentally talked to an informant, let them know who they were with, and they gotta abide by that. If they say they was with these niggas, then they was with the niggas on the day of the murder. That's crazy though, man. That's crazy. Damn.
He was with Ksoo and Leroy Whitaker, who was also eventually charged with second-degree murder when they tracked down McCormick. Now this is where it gets clear. According to Barner, the reason Ksoo wanted to kill McCormick was because he made a song which talked about disparagingly about Willie Edison. Edison, who's also known as Boscoon, was an aspiring rapper when he was killed leaving a concert in 2019, and also Ksoo's half-brother. Now you know that even McCormick was a rapper who rapped under the name Lil Buck. Barner told police that when McCormick came out of the business, Robinson jumped out of the rear passenger seat, chased McCormick down, and shot him with an AR pistol. After that, Ksoo got arrested, thrown in jail, and had on a $1 million bond as he was charged with second-degree murder in McCormick's death. Ksoo, together with his brother and father, were said to be involved in the same case. Since Ksoo's brother was also mentioned to be a part of this, he's been on the run and police have put a reward on him. He didn't run for too long as Fulton County Sheriff's Office records show Kareem Robinson, also known as Crazy K, was arrested in the Atlanta area on a warrant for fugitive from justice on a murder charge and awaiting extradition back to Jacksonville. Hope you haven't forgotten that Ksoo was also charged in the February 2019 murder of 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor Jr. at the Hilltop Village Apartments in Northwest Jacksonville.
This is where, I don't know, this shit's so crazy though, because it'll be one thing if it was one murder, my nigga, but two murders, my guy? It'll even be easier if it was just a murder and an attempted murder, but two murders. Like, I don't know, man. This case got a lot of shit to it. Like, this got a lot of shit to it, man.
Adrian Gaynor Jr. at the Hilltop Village Apartments in Northwest Jacksonville. In that case, his bond was also set at $3 million. Ksoo has pleaded not guilty, and together with his attorney and whole crew still claiming that he wasn't the shooter and that it was innocent in the accusations. Now here's the big deal. Ksoo has been indicted on a charge of first-degree murder, according to a news release from the Office of the State Attorney 4th Judicial Circuit of Florida. Ksoo was indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder, and in the 2 different cases. He's charged in the shooting deaths of 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor in 2019 and 23-year-old rapper Charles McCormick Jr. in 2020. Even if Ksoo wasn't the shooter, he has in a way implicated himself with his controversial music videos that feature lyrics about the murders.
They need to change that, man. You know, I've been seeing there's laws coming in. I think New York said that they trying to enforce a law where they can't use music videos or lyrics against the criminals out there. If they rap, they can't use it against them. But a lot of times, and it's like in the thing with Ksoo, you know, when I think of Ksoo music video, I think when he wore the Bibby jersey. Like, let's say, you know, he didn't have anything to do with it. Bibby was just rocking with somebody who he was at odds with, and he died. He's mocking his death by wearing a jersey. Police gonna look into that. They gonna look into that, like, why is he wearing his jersey all the time? Why is he constantly saying his name? Why is he, like, some of the lyrics can even be a little vivid almost, man. That's the culture we live in now. That's what rap is now. Where a lot of times, man, like, they get very, very vivid with their lyrics to the point, like, where even us as reactors, when we listen to it, we like, man, hold on, ain't no way this man just said that. But it's like, man, the way that the courts do it and the police they had somebody that scoured YouTube. I guarantee it. They had a motherfucker go through every single Ksoo music video, look at everything, every visual, listen to every lyric that this man put out. Come on, man. That's gonna be a huge downfall. Huge downfall. Y'all saw what happened with Bobby Shmurda. Luckily, Shmurda got the lighter end of it, though.
Rapper Charles McCormick Jr. in 2020. Even if Ksoo wasn't the shooter, he has in a way implicated himself with his controversial music videos that feature lyrics about the murders, though his attorneys have said the lyrics did not prove he's guilty. Recently, the judge also denied a request by Ksoo's attorneys, who wanted the state prosecutor removed from the case. The indictments were among 5 total that were handed down by a grand jury, and 2 of the indictments involved 2 unrelated cases. These other cases only show that those Ksoo are involved or charged with are dangerous, if his claims of being part of it is true. Alberto Rosario Jr. was charged in 2 drug overdose deaths. Rashard Lewis was charged in 2 deadly shootings a month apart in December 2019 and January 2020. Really scary set of people they are. You see, this problem in case generally has to do with gang wars, and I believe that makes sense. There are these 2 Jacksonville gangs that have been at crazy wars, the ATK and KTA. There's been crazy happenings surrounding these 2 gangs headed by fast rising rappers Young Ace and Julio Fulio. You must have heard about the case of these 2 gangs that's been going on for a long time. Even Julio Fulio was shot at late last year, but luckily survived the shooting. I mean, damn, if you want this video to end, then let's not even bother to talk about all that's happened between these 2 gangs and only focus on the ones that are connected with this case.
Series.
You see, this string of violence surrounding the case dates back to 2019, even when rapper Willie Addison, another brother of Ksoo known as Boss Goon, was killed and 5 others were wounded in Spring Park. The shooting victims had just left the rap music event at Paradise Gentlemen's Club on Bay Meadows Road. Since Boss Goon's death, his brother Ksoo and his family seem to have been determined to avenge his death. As you already know, that gang members don't report to the authorities. They'd rather take law into their own hands.
The thing with this, though, I feel like they bringing up a lot of hypotheticals. Yes, it is a gang. You know, they don't like each other. Both sides don't like each other. But I don't know if in the court's eyes, they creating these hypotheticals of, well, since they're into it, somebody they knew died, so obviously they're gonna avenge the death. A lot of times, man, niggas get backdoored. Shit happens a lot of times. Yeah, you know, the most common is, you know, you gonna get that get back, man. But in order to be fair in this justice system, you got to look at all the evidence. All the evidence, man. You know, so I don't know, man. I just feel like it's a lot of hypotheticals in the case. And that's just my opinion. Not everybody got to agree with that, but that's just my opinion.
No, that gang members don't report to the authorities. They'd rather take law into their own hands. That, I guess, resulted in the death of Adrian Gaynor, also known as Bibby. Yeah, does it ring a bell? You must have heard his name in Young and Ace and Ksoo's songs. He's a friend of Julio Fulio, but it isn't clear if he's a KTA member. In Young and Ace's song titled Who I Smoke, he raps, Who I Smoke, Bibby, Who I Smoke, Tiki.
And today makes 1 year since Who I Smoke dropped, man. That's what's crazy.
Who I Smoke, Lil 9. Ksoo also mentioned him in his song Ksoo B. He raps, niggas never play with Ksoo, smoke bucking Bibby to the face though. Bibby had a closed casket, I wasn't surprised. So typical gang members, right? They rap about crimes a lot in their songs. As Barner has said, Lil Buck was killed because he dissed Boss Goon. You see the trend? Not only did Ksoo put these crimes in his song, his album cover also features faces of death, young men in Jacksonville.
And that is shit like this that is like, you know, those hypotheticals that I was talking about aren't so hypothetical anymore. So that's when they got the visuals and they got the lyrics, they got the Instagram lives, the posts on IG, and when they got all of that, you know, that's why I feel like it's a fine line that should be drawn between being a street nigga and a rapper. I know 90% of the niggas nowadays are all street niggas, man. You can't be no fake nigga like they had 25 years ago. All these niggas earn their stripes. They all into it with niggas in their hometown, man. Listen, they seen a lot of shit, done a lot of shit. And it's like a lot of times when they express themselves on these songs, it get them caught up, though.
To put these crimes in his song. His album cover also features faces of death, young men in Jacksonville. That's really crazy and might not ever make him come out of his trouble. With Ksoo's charges upgraded, he's facing 2 possible sentences, which is either death sentences or life without the possibility of parole, according to Florida statute. Alright guys, well that's that about the Ksoo's case upgraded. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think he can actually beat this case with the help of his attorney? Or that's the end for him? Hey you, yeah
All I'm
you.
gonna say is, if he can beat this case, nigga, his attorney is goated, my nigga. If he can beat this shit. Honestly, I mean, they definitely going hard for him. They going hard for him. They doing the best that they can. You know, we just gotta wait and see how this play out. It's been, like I said, a year and a half since he got arrested. So, I don't know, man. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on this situation. Link down below in the description for y'all to check this video out in its entirety with no interruptions. If y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me, want daily reaction videos, hit that subscribe button for me. To the next video, I'll see y'all then. Thank you for watching MANIACITV. I'm out.